Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, where after a while the little voice in your head says, why am I watching this? Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Arizona. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 80 degrees. Today it's only going to be 77. Why do I give the weather? Because if you don't live in Arizona, you might want to move here. And I probably won't be giving the weather in June and July. So I'm going to be out of here. I'll be up in the hills or something. So welcome. It's going to be another interesting look into the Arizona real estate. We'll jump into the numbers here in a couple of minutes. Spring training is going to start. The ball players are starting to show up now, reporting to camps. They did come out. The Cactus League came out with some of the rules for attending these games. And it's going to be harder to see these games if you're just going to walk up to the stadium and get tickets. My advice, get them in advance, because some of the stadiums are only going to be 25% capacity. Not all of the concessions are going to be open. You're supposed to wear a mask unless you're eating or drinking. It's going to be quite different this year, but I think the main point to let everybody know is, you should buy your tickets in advance, because if you walk up to the gate and they're 25% capacity, they're going to be sold out pretty quickly. And it looks like that's going to be the case with every stadium in and around Arizona. So hope that helps. And I want to share something with you that I do well, not really on the side, but I have a website here called Arizona Senior Solutions. And the purpose of this site is to help you find the resources for your aging parents. And when my dad had Alzheimer's, our family, we were scrambling to find help. And he was up in Washington State, but it was not, look at this, it's giving me a hiccup. Let me try it again. Arizona Resources. How strange. I'll have to go back in and take another look. We were scrambling to try and find the resources. How do we get, are there any annuities we can get? How do we know where the best care center is? So I've taken a site and I've put it together here with national resources, and for some reason it's not updating. I got in and updated a little earlier, so I probably broke something. But Arizona, it's called azseniorsolutions.com. So if you've got aging parents, and there's a lot of resources in here to be able to, once it works, to be able to find the help that you need. So anyway, I just thought I'd plug that. I don't make any money on it. I just kind of got some people on there together with me. So take a look when you get a chance. So let's dive into the numbers. I haven't even looked at them yet. They were 4,200 yesterday. And so let's see where we're at today. Tuesday's typically the lowest. I don't even know what to expect anymore. So we're going to go to active here. We're going to look. Here it rolls. 4164. Do you think we'll be below 4,000 tomorrow? Yes, I think we will be. That's incredible. When you look at listings on the MLS, you'll see all kinds of green dots on the map. And if I look at the map here, that looks like a lot of homes, right? It's 4,100 homes. You can also see here that we start out with a lot of trailers, 6,500, 8,900, 8,900. So when you say there's 4,100 homes, there's really not that many. When you drill into a neighborhood and we want to go, where's it really hurting? Out here in the West Valley, you get down here, there's maybe 10 out there. So it's pretty bleak. Now, the thing that everybody's watching this week is interest rates. And the interest rates are creeping up. I talked to my buddy Pat yesterday, and he said that yesterday was brutal. And they're kind of all over the map on where these rates are going to be. And right now they spiked up. They spiked up because treasuries are going up, because people think that we're going to have inflation, that the economy is going to start roaring. I'm kind of on the fence about that. I also watch a guy on YouTube called Steve Van Meter. He's calls himself the Bond King. He puts out a rather compelling illustration using charts, and trust me when I tell you he's complicated. That this could spring back. He talks about the rubber band effect. He goes, we have stretched right now where the bond market has gone way down, and it's gone down too far based on what he sees in charts, and it could spring back. So he thinks that very soon that interest rates may come back down. So everybody's watching it closely, but they got hammered pretty hard yesterday. I think we're sitting at about 3.1. And what it says here in the recap, it says, and this is MBS recap. MBS is mortgage-backed securities. Bonds were weaker earlier in the trading session, but rallied back mid-morning before closing mostly sideways to the close. Bond bulls were frustrated by the inability to break the floor at 1.27, 1.28 and 10-year yields. Bond bears were frustrated by the clear unwillingness to explore new highs compared to yesterday. In other words, it was an inside day with lower highs, higher lows, and part of a two-day consolidation following the highest yields in 11 months. Such consolidations can be preludes to big bounces or renewed selling pressure. There weren't any major clues in today's session about which side is going to win. In other words, what they're saying is, we have no idea. Saying they were hitting, going back to the highs, and maybe they were going to break through, but then they were going to the lows, and then they bounced back up. So when they said it's just muddling. So it went down, it tried to come up, it didn't go up. So it's saying it's anybody's guess. Now, we're gonna talk on Friday about new construction and new construction loans using their lender, using another lender, what to look for, what to watch out for. But probably the biggest thing, if you're looking for new construction, to really remember is that you can't lock a rate. So if that house isn't going to be done for 8 months, don't even shop for rates right now. So if you're looking at new construction and you go out to a Pulte home development and they go, hey, our rate is 2.9, well, good. What's it going to be in 8 months? They can't tell you. So it doesn't do any good to shop rates now if you got new construction. And then there's also in contracts, and I'm going to show you on Friday, but in a contract, there's a thing called a loan contingency. So you're supposed to, you're closing this home contingent upon the fact that you can get financing. If something happens along the way and you can't get financing, you can walk away from the contract and you can get your earnest money back. So you can't get the loan. Now, you've done due diligence, you got pre-approved, they said you can get the loan, but something between the time that you signed the contract and the time that you're getting ready to close, something happened where you can't get financing. Some people go out and get a new credit card and now they ruin their debt to income ratio, or there's just, circumstances that happen that make you unable to get the loan. There might have been a financial hardship that came along the way. And so now you can't get financing. And if you can't get financing, you can walk away from the contract. But here's a problem. If rates go up, and let's just say, and I don't see this happening now, I don't think the rates are on fire to go up this high, but let's use this as an example. Let's say you got a rate at 2.89, and that's the rate you want. And during the period between when you signed the contract and when you're supposed to close, the rate went up to 3.5. You go, well, that's too high. I don't want that payment now. I don't want that rate. I'm canceling the contract. You don't get your earnest money back, folks. Inside the contract, in the financing contingency, it says leaving and, canceling the contract because the rate went up is not considered inability to get financing. If the rate went up to a point to where you're no longer qualified, that's a different story. And lenders have to be careful. They have to make sure that you don't qualify. You can't just call your buddy Joe, the lender, and go, hey, write a little note that says the rate's too high and I can no longer afford it. They're not going to do that. They don't want to lose their license. So we're going to dive in on Friday. Friday's our lending update, and we're going to take a big look at that and see what's going on. The other thing that we see right now is the Federal Reserve warned of significant risk of business bankruptcies and steep drops in commercial real estate prices in a report published on Friday. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Business leverage now stands at historic highs, the central bank said in its semi-annual policy report to Congress. So what they're telling you is that you already knew this, that there's going to be foreclosures in small businesses and the buildings where they were renting. And so you drive anywhere around Arizona right now, and you will see these strip malls that are just vacant. And nobody's really sure what's going to happen to them. Now, they didn't have the bankruptcies now because a lot of these guys got PPP loans, but that's where they make the comment and say they're highly leveraged now. So they've taken on a lot of debt to stay alive. So those things are going to start going under, and we'll just have to watch and see what happens. That going to have effect on residential real estate? It hasn't yet. As you can see, our inventory is still incredibly low, and we're sitting at 4,000 units, 4,164. It's not affecting our real estate market, and unemployment could, but not yet. So the other thing we're going to watch this week, I do a 7-day moving average, and I want to see, right now we're still eating up new listings coming up at a rate of about 300 units a week. If rates go up to 3.1 or 3.2, will that make a difference? Well, now we're going to see if that 7-day moving average is telling us anything. So stay tuned. We'll check in every day. We'll take a look at the 7-day moving average tomorrow. I don't expect a big change. I think it's going to remain about the same. Until then, everybody, have a super day and enjoy that nice weather.